I can't reach the top shelf on my own. I'm much too short for that, so I got my desk chair. Hopefully it does not break on me. So today I have some time on my hands and I figured why not use that time to finally get around to organising my bookshelf. Ever since I got this bookshelf and put it together, I have been dying to finally organise the shelves, and well, I finally have time to do so. So that is what we're going to do. I recently moved, and so obviously that meant I had to move all of my books. I think I have about 120 books. For me, that's like a lot of books. I know for some people 120 is like their TBR, but for me 120 books is insane. Having to lug them from one place to the other was honestly a struggle. Honestly, it was a workout. I'm all buff now because of it. They're fairly organised, as you can see, like from the colouring. I've got romance here, like fantasy here, but that's not how I want my bookshelves to look. Obviously, I want to decorate them a bit. But first of all, I just want to say I'm so happy because in the move I finally got like a proper bookshelf. Before I just had a bunch of little cubes, you may know from having seen on my TikTok, and it did look nice, but it meant I couldn't fully display books I wanted because the cubes were like maybe that big, so you could only fit a certain amount of books in it. And then these bookshelves, these are just, they're beautiful, and I know I have space to put some books on display, some of the nicer books, to stack them a bit differently. So obviously this is just like my red books. My TBR, I've already moved them. They are already on my TBR cart, as you would have seen in my last videos. There are some series I've had for Christmas or my birthday. I've had the entire series, but I haven't read even the first one. So for those, I've just put the first book on my TBR, and then the rest of the books are on the shelf. First, we're going to take all the books off, all the little deco stuff that I'm planning on putting there, and then we're going to figure out how you want them. I think my plan is to kind of keep it in this kind of layout, so have like the colourful, very obviously romance books in the top half, and then the more darker fantasy books on these three shelves. I know I do have more fantasy than romance, but outside of that, honestly, we'll see how it goes. I don't really have a specific plan. I'm just gonna try things and hope that it fits. Okay, so there we go. These bookshelves look really empty and they just look really big. Like, I don't know if they look big on camera, but maybe it's just I'm used to not really having bookshelves, but it's beautiful. Oh, makes me so happy. I genuinely cannot believe like how people can have 400 books. I have 120. That seems insanely enough to be 120. Like, there's so many, but at the same time, like, it's never enough. So I understand how you get 400 books, but that's a lot of books. Ignore the mess behind. Like I said, we are moving in, but this is the books in piles, my beautiful books. Okay, so now it is time to put them back on the shelves. So I do know that like my completed series, not necessarily completed as in read all of them, but as in own all of them, so like the Boys of Tommen, Throne of Glass, I have all the Harry Potters and my Heartstoppers. I do want to have them in some kind of display formation. So I was thinking, again, you can't see this because the camera's too short, but basically on the right, on the top of the bookshelves, I might display my Harry Potter books there because they're obviously books from my childhood that I've had for literal years. And I really, when I was young, I was absolutely obsessed with Harry Potter, and J.K. Rowling hasn't ruined that to me, but like, it's really annoying because it has kind of put a negative shine on them, which I hate. But I would really like to just have an entire just Harry Potter kind of display section for the books because they're like the original editions. Basically, my parents got them when they were coming out, and then they just gave them to me to read when I was younger. They're the original covers, which I think are lovely. This is the 5th, this is the 4th, and I would just really like to kind of have them on display, just kind of like this, you see what I'm saying? But yeah, outside of that, I don't have any like fixed plans for what is going to be on what shelf. I've got all my Alice Oseman books, which I just really like the setup I had of them in my last bookshelf, so I think I'll just keep that the same, keep it simple. I am missing this winter because I put that on my TBR cart. Then of course I've got all my LGBTQ books, which are honestly mostly Casey McQuiston because she is one of my all-time favourite authors, and I do feel that just like this shelf, like I'm calling it a romance shelf, it's really more an LGBTQ shelf. Okay, so somehow I thought I would not have enough space for all my books with the way I lay them out, especially because of the way that I like laid out the Throne of Glass series. They take up a lot more space, but I've actually got too much space. Like on the top shelf, one that you can't really see, I will show you later, there is like a gap, which is actually probably a good thing considering my TBR is like 30 books long, so like I do read books and I will be adding books to it, so it's actually a good thing that there's a little bit of space that I can add more books to. So yes, I think I am done putting books on. So I haven't put up decorations yet. I have a couple of the ones that were on the bookshelf already, but then I know I have more decorations I have not yet unpacked. Unpacking is a slow and laborious process, let me tell you. So I'll probably just put on the ones that I have unpacked and then save the ones I haven't unpacked and do that maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. I haven't got time. But yeah, so let me put on the decorations I have and then I'll give you guys a tour. So one of my roommates had these like fake vines that she's no longer using. Like she had some spare ones, and so I think what would be really cool if I can manage to untangle them. Wait a second. This is really confusing. There we go. So what I think I might do is I might put it across here. So have it going like this and then like going up so it like travels across the bookshelves. Let me find some blue tack. Let me stick this on here and let me see how it looks. So I have finished the bookshelves, as you can see. I'm going to take you through shelf by shelf, though, show you roughly what I've done, what I've put there, decorations. So at the very bottom shelf, I let my sister have because I did not need all 6 shelves. I do not have enough books for that. And she disgraced me, betrayed me by organizing books by color, which I think looks really pretty, but it's stupid because, as you can see, she has a series that's split up because it's by color. And she has like multiple series like that and it really bugs me, but it looks very pretty. Okay, so the camera's kind of wonky, but just ignore that. It's gonna be slightly tilted. But yeah, so this is like my completed fantasy series section, the one that I have series of, but that I was less interested in displaying, although they are kind of displayed, especially my Hunger Games section here, because I just love the Hunger Games and I think the books I have are so gorgeous. I wanted to have a different edition of each book. I know some people like having their books all in the same edition, and I do too, but for the Hunger Games, because there are so many editions and not that many books, my goal was to find a different edition for each book, which I achieved and which I'm very happy about, and I think it looks lovely. But yeah, so we just have, this is purely series. We have the Imperium trilogy, the David trilogy, the Hunger Games, currently small collection of Alexander Clare books, and the Mirror Visitor series, which I have not read but are on my TBR to read. So yeah, just a fairly simple bottom floor. Okay, so this is the second shelf, and this is my visibly fancy shelf because literally every book on it is black or dark blue. So here, obviously on display, I had to put the Emperine series because, I mean, come on, it's the book that got me into book talk, that got me back into my reading addiction. I couldn't not. So you can't see very well, but you have the Fourth Wing one and the Iron Flame one behind, and then the Onyx Storm in front, because obviously Onyx Storm is not the same size because they haven't released it in mini paperback yet, which is really annoying. Here we have just a stack of some fantasy books that I really enjoyed, slash just, I don't know, there's not really any order to it. And then here we have the rest of them. Technically, 2 of these books are not fantasy, but they have black spines, they fit the vibe, and no one will ever need to know. But yeah, fairly simple. I really like how it's kind of framed as well by the vines. I think that's really pretty, really adds to the fantasy element. But yeah, this is my very clearly basic fantasy section. Okay, so I'm gonna have to hold the camera. I really need to get myself like a proper camera stand because I do not have one, so my camera's just like on books and then they don't go this high, so I'm just gonna hold it. But here is my mostly Throne of Glass section. As you can see, I laid them out and I've got my little elephant collection on top because I have the exact amount of elephants for books, so I thought that was just perfect. And then here we have like my colourful fantasy books. We have The Cool Prince, and yeah, a little candle, which I will not be lighting. It's purely for aesthetic. I do not want to burn my books. But yeah, so this one's very simple, and again, it has like the vines framing it, which I think is really pretty. So that's my little fantasy 2 floors. One very visibly fantasy and then one my brighter fantasy. And then here we have my romance slash LGBT section. To be fair, my LGBT books are romance, so it's totally just a romance section. So of course we have my Heartstoppers, a little Polaroid of me and my sisters. We have then my other Alice Oseman books, my little Heartstopper bookmark that I am so happy I got. I got it when I bought one of the books on Vinted, and it was honestly best decision ever. And then here we have just my other gay book. So obviously my Casey McQuiston, my Red, White and Royal Blue special edition on display because it is my prized possession. The house could be burning and I will be running back to save it. A little Lego typewriter because I think this is really cute, and it really fits the vibe with all the like the pastel colours. It goes perfectly with this very colourful shelf. And then here we have my 2 Emily Henry books, who's like the one other romance, the one like heterosexual romance author that I read. This is the top shelf, so I have my Boys of Tom books here, my little cork collection, little paper stars that my sister made, and I just think it looks really pretty. And I've got another candle, very pretty candle, do not know what it smells nice, but again I'm not going to burn it, it's purely for decoration. So this is where there's a bit of extra space because as you can see, like there's a huge gap where the bottle is, so I could fill that by just like pushing that forward, putting the bottle like in front of it, and then I'd have room for more books next to it. But so this is kind of like, aside from the Boys of Tom N, this is kind of my books that didn't fit anywhere else category. So a lot of these are books that I did enjoy, but they're not really in the fantasy section and they just don't go anywhere else, and I don't care about them enough to display them, so they're kind of just here. But it does look pretty, it's nice and colourful. So we got like the top half of my bookshelves that are very colourful, the bottom half which are not. And yeah, the Power of the Orange Tree obviously on display. It is one of the prettiest and biggest books I own that I have not read, but it's on the TBR. But yeah, so here's just a mix of genres. We got, I think this is thriller, I think maybe literary thriller. We've got murder mystery, we've got contemporary, bit of cozy fantasy, biography, more fantasy. It's kind of just a mix, really, ones that didn't fit anywhere else. So then the top, this is my Harry Potter shelf. I'm not that tall, I'm already standing on a stool, I cannot get higher, so this is the best you're gonna see. But yeah, over the year I've just collected like little Harry Potter figurines and memorabilia, and so I just decorated that with these. But it's fairly simple, and I think it's a really nice top of the bookshelf section. So there you have it, these are my bookshelves. So yeah, there is my bookshelves. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun organising them, and I'm so happy it's finally done. It's just one thing to check off the list, and also it just makes the house, and especially the hallway of course, look so much better. So I'm really happy with what I did. There is obviously a very, very high chance this will happen again, that I reorganize them, because like as I get through my TBR I'm going to be adding books, and so some of them are like series that I only have some of the books on here, some of them are new books that I may want to display, so I will need to reorganize my bookshelves in accordance to that. But hopefully that's a long way off because I like how I've done this, and I hope I can stay this way for a little bit. So that's kind of all for now. I have organised my bookshelves, I've shown you guys, I don't know what else I have to do here. So I hope you guys like the organisation, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Always good to see a thumbs up. If you made it all the way to the end, comment like a book stack in the book comments. I think it's like the book stack, you know, the books emoji. That's kind of all I have to say. Until next week.